I don't want to, beat a dead horse if that's the expression, but y'all ninjas is never on the right side of any argument of any conversation. Somehow, like again, this and this is why I'm saying like, it's why no one takes it serious. No one really respects us because we really don't know what fights to fight, what battles to battle. You know what I'm saying? So somehow, black people think that when DEI got rolled back, right? Meaning that the government defunded DEI. I mean, so a lot of people don't realize. So DEI means that your salary may not. No, I'm sorry. DEI means that not all of your salary comes out of that company or that entity's budget. Okay. The reason why, from what I understand, the government had to say so was because they put money into this. All right. So DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. So I remember having like long conversations with my homeboy, and I asked him, "Do you know anyone personally? Do you know any black men that were affected by the rollback of DEI?" You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't gonna lie. I mean, like I did not even know what the hell that was. I mean, I had an idea of it. I understand like the concept of like minority hires. Like I've heard it mentioned in certain shows and stuff like that, like on 30 Rock, like stuff like that. So I understand I understood the concept of when people fall under like certain groups, like certain minorities, Asians, queer people, disabled people, that they fall under a certain population. So if that company hires them, they don't have to pay the entire salary. You know what I mean? They basically can get the government to pay some of the salary, right? So that's a part of it. So that was my understanding. So when it was rolled back, right? So somehow Target became the big focus, and overnight became this villain, and somehow rolling back DEI was somehow an attack on black people. It was somehow Target saying we hate we can't stand you ninjas. Okay, we're rolling back DEI. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip real quick. I'm sorry, I'm gonna play this clip real quick. So basically, this is like kind of an altercation. I ain't gonna lie. Memphis Bleek was not able to do no kind of like PR performing. He went straight barbershop. I think niggas didn't realize, he in barbershop mode. He's not really in like, having, cause niggas like this like to come online and look hip hop, but at the same time build to kind of like come on and sound fake smart. My man on the left with the red hat, he's gonna ask Bleek about, so why do you think Jay thought it was cool to put his album in Target, knowing that we're boycotting Target? Again, black people are boycotting Target because of DEI. And I'm going to play a clip for y'all after this, right? To really put shit in perspective, for y'all to understand what that is, and the fact that does not affect you, especially if you are a black man. That does not affect you in the slightest. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, because I don't know anyone, and I don't see I didn't see any black men coming online saying, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Matter of fact, I don't know if I saw black people coming online saying, damn, they rolled back DEI, I lost my job. I didn't see any of those videos. I didn't see no compilation, none of that shit. Because black folks, especially women, come online to bitch and complain about anything else that happens to them. Oh my God, I broke a nail today. And they'll have a title called I Broke a Nail Today. And I'm not lying. I'm not lying. No, I'm not lying. Come on, bro. Anyway, I'm going to play the clip. We're going to react to it.
I don't give a fuck about that activism shit, my nigga. Because these niggas is still in there,
right,
my nigga.
Right.
So don't worry about us.
Look, the Target deal is important because
everybody album is available right.
So why wouldn't Hope say, hey, I don't have control.
You don't have to. He don't owe y'all niggas no explanation.
This is a black man asking another black man why a black man who put his album in Target didn't make a press statement saying, hey, listen, I don't agree with them rolling back DEI. So again, we're going to get into who actually benefits from this whole program. And now, now listen, big spoiler alert, it's not you. If you're a black man watching, not you. Matter of fact, if you're a black woman watching, not you. So if your main reason for boycotting Target it is because of them rolling back DEI, this conversation in general shows how much we're cooked. We are cooked. Because on one hand, it is a dangerous thing to have someone stand there and sound serious and righteous and they're wrong. And even with the nature of the conversation, when people who are left, especially like black folks, right? Y'all have come to do like the liberal bullying tactics where when you have conversation, you don't have conversation for the sake of hearing the other person out and having a dialogue and a back and forth and seeing where things go, right? When you have like, especially with black folks, right? Black people like to try to activate hive mindset. So it's like, all right, well, if you black, you like this. If you black, don't get me wrong. To a certain degree, it's funny. It's a good joke. You know what I mean? To kind of talk about, yeah, there are certain things that we all like to the point where if you don't like it, it's weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gonna lie. And when you tell me, if someone tells me that they don't like Jay-Z, I know automatically you are an angry person. Like I saw a post one time online. And it's around the time when he was going through like the height of like that bad press. And somebody wrote on Thread saying, if someone doesn't like Jay-Z, I kind of find that they genuinely don't have good taste in things. And you know what? Listen, that's facts. That's facts. But listen, real quick, we gotta laugh at how. Listen, Bleek has already had this conversation. He jumped right out there and said, "I don't give a f about that activism shit, my nigga." And let me explain why that's significant. Because the conversation that the dude on the left wants to have is only valid if the other person believes what you believe. It's only valid if the other person is on what you're on. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. And that's the thing about these conversations. You can't try to talk to me as if we're going to build and have a conversation when, and in your mind, we can only have a conversation, or what I'm saying is only valid if I agree with you. And we'll do this to a point where we'll roll along with things that make no fucking sense. Like for years, until the black male media era, or media made and created and led by black people on social media, we championed and propped up and gave mad props to single mothers. And now we're able to have a better conversation, and now maybe the next generation is at least a little more informed. Because my generation really was taught to think that it don't matter how you have a kid, all right? It doesn't matter if y'all both in the house. It doesn't matter if y'all stay together. Like having a long, matter of fact, no, fuck that. Just having long-term thinking is not a part of black culture at this point. Because someone who can really do long-term thinking is also thinking about the next generation. We've gotten to a point where we have no ability to think about what's good for the world. So any man I can talk to, I'll always say to them, no matter what, even if it seems as though it's futile, the men of this world, even though the world doesn't deserve you, the men of this world have to do their best to make the world a good place. You know what I'm saying? But nigga said, fuck that activism shit. But anyways, but go back to the conversation, right? My man on the left in the red hat, he really thinks that he's making a good point. And then he says to him, well, that's where we differ. Because he and Bleek really has, even though it's not maybe the most tactful, most politically correct, you understand? But at the same time, but it's the most real. Because at the end of the day, he said, why, like, Hov does not owe you an explanation. We've created this, not atmosphere, but let's just say this world where a celebrity or just people in general feel like, all right, well, you had to cater to people's feelings and speak to feelings. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that whole concept of like doing press statements and really apologizing. Like I think over the last like 20, like I'm sorry, not 20. Let's say since like Chris Brown. I think like I fucking started with Chris Brown when Chris Brown got crazy with Rihanna. That shit was crazy. But when Chris Brown had his altercation with Rihanna and he came on to Larry King show, well, I think he did an apology online before that. But but he did an apology online, and I feel like he set off the whole domino effect of celebrities going online and kind of doing like a humiliation ritual and just apologizing, and people who comedians and stuff like that. I remember Bill Burr was talking about that. This is like years ago when cancel culture first started, and he said these people want to reduce someone to one bad moment or one thing they say. It doesn't matter what else you've done in life. They want to make it to where you're only that one moment. You're only that one thing. And you got to realize that for a loser, that makes perfect sense because they don't have anything to lose. All right? Because they're already a loser. So in their mind, they don't think of it as, I've taken something away from that person. That person has now lost something. This person has lost a piece of themselves that I've taken from them. Because that's what you do when you discredit somebody. But if it were you want an infinite amount of chances. You understand? So I want to just explore real quick. You know, matter of fact, I'm gonna play the whole thing.
That's where we split ways. That's
Hold on, let me bring it back. Okay, all right, it's not.
You ain't got a body. Don't talk to me like I give a fuck about that activism shit, my nigga. Like, because these niggas is still in there,
right,
my nigga.
Right.
So don't worry about.
Niggas are still in. Let me speak to that point too. Black people have never stopped going to Target. Every time I've been to Target, it's full of black folks. I won't see almost nothing but black people. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, yo, we gotta start having conversations about what actually happens in real life and separate it from these internet fantasies. I don't know. I have had no conversations where I hear black people saying I'm not shopping at Target no more. And also too, right? This dude right here makes a point about how Target's profits have been down for the last couple of years. Target rolled back the DEI thing back in 2025. We're in 2026. A couple of years will be 2 to 3 years. About 3 years or so, right? So so right now, that would mean that this has been going on since 2023. Even with stuff like that, y'all just have it to where you have no problem being wrong. And that's also, again, that's female leadership. That's your mama. Because no matter what, it's keep it a stack, yo. If you ever had a woman in charge of you, like whether it's someone who's over you and stuff like that, at some point you kind of see like the display of the behavior where you see like, yo, oh shit, you don't care whether or not you're right. Like, you don't actually care about being right. Like, you just doing what you feel like doing right now. You know what I'm saying? And with this conversation right here, it's like, damn, this dude don't realize how dumb he sounds. Cause he thinks he's having a moral argument. He thinks he's having an argument based off of principles. He even says that's what we separate. And it's like, why does this person have to believe what you believe? We're supposed to have our own unique opinions anyway. That's really a brittle spirit when you feel like, yo, you can't be friends with or talk to people who don't think exactly like you. That is the weakest shit ever. You know what I'm saying?
Look, the Target deal is important because
Now everybody album is available
right.
vinyl
So
in
why
Target.
wouldn't Hope say, hey, I don't have
He
control
don't
of that.
have to. He don't owe y'all niggas no explanation, my nigga.
That's where we split ways.
Well, that's gonna forever be that, my nigga. Y'all sounded like the old lady in the window. Why y'all outside 3 a.m. loud? We gotta tell her we selling drugs, bitch.
Hello, thank you for calling Rockney.
And again, black people will watch this post right here, right, and say how dumb and crazy you sound. So let's go ahead and just let's look at it real quick. Let's watch a few videos real quick. I'm sorry, I got some stuff for you. Let's see what we got here. All right, let's go ahead and check this out. All right, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and have a little adventure. Check it out.
I want you to Google very generically. Matter of fact, do it right now. I know you can open another window. I'll keep talking. Open a window and type in who primarily benefits from DEI. That should be an easy answer for you to answer. That should be simple. But when you see the response, I want you to tell the public what it is and how you feel about that response. Since you said it's all about black people, letting black people in, black people, and want black people, ain't enough black people. What does it say?
White woman.
White women.
Women. Period.
White women, not just women. white women.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. I can tell by his posture and his demeanor. His Punani path is one of being agreeable to shit. This nigga just said women. I'm like, and again, this is so. Yo, don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on nobody and whatnot, but listen, there is a bit of a. It's a war going on, fam. Like, women always treat this shit like it's war, and make it very apparent that, yo, whatever I get, I'm styling on you, my nigga. Whatever I get, I'm stunting on you. Whatever I can do to F your life up and put you in a bad position, I'm doing it. Almost every woman, if they've been with a guy with money and they got divorced and whatnot, almost every woman, as a matter of fact, fuck him having money, just having anything. Women will make sure on the way out that they get whatever they're entitled to. They're not going to say, you know what, I'm good on child support. You know what, I'm good on alimony. You know what, I'm good on splitting up assets. No, women make sure you pay, fam. He was starting to put his blue pill sip hat on to I don't know what, champion for women's rights. Don't get me wrong. Do what you do, my nigga. But the point is this. These people don't like you. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people don't like you. They don't know you. They don't like you. They don't support you at all. And that's another thing too about black people. Black people are so backwards that we don't realize that. Why do you support people who don't give a F about you? The people you try to support and stick up for, like people who be like black folks who say stuff about the Palestine and Israeli thing, and no diss to them. I'm not issuing on whatever's going on over there, but it's like you have no connection to that. Like you're literally talking about that because you think it makes you sound worldly and sound righteous, and you don't care about them people. You don't know them people. You have no, and it's okay to not necessarily have like a connection to something that you're not really a part of. It's fine, but this also comes from how much, like, especially African American people have a huge problem with their identity. Like the other day, right? I was talking to my dad. I'm like, my dad's not always around me, so he doesn't really know that, that I'm a smoker. But if I was younger, that would have been the thing that I would have like proclaimed more or thought more about. Like I never think of myself as a smoker, right? But I remember like, we was just having a conversation, and what was he saying to me? He was we was talking about dating and stuff like that. We talking about like he was saying basically, yeah, I'm sure that girls don't like want like smoke weed on the first date. And I'm like, what? People who smoke weed will smoke weed with you in the first. So we was having a conversation about that, right? And shit just went left. I'm sorry. Anyway, so we was having a conversation about that, and just about like how things actually go and how and what really goes on in real life. You know what I'm saying? And even with that, I realized like, damn, like we don't all have the same experiences, and we don't always realize that this is my idea of certain people and certain things. But with black folks and their problem with their identity is that we try to wrap ourselves around particular themes. So for example, black people think that I'm a good black person if I seem overly concerned with like other groups of people. It's like, like the whole trans thing, the queer thing. And I think a lot of men don't realize, like, fam, queer people hate you. Like literally, if you were a straight male, especially if you were a straight white male, if you're a straight male, queer people know you are the bane of their existence. They literally think that it's bad that you exist. They think everything about you is bad. Like literally like that, like all these themes you hear, like toxic masculinity, all these things are kind of like offshoots, and they just comes from like the queer headspace where, for one, they all think they're like therapists, and like they're like in like perpetual therapy. They're like perpetual psych patients where you overanalyze everything, you psychoanalyze everyone, and try to kind of like keep redefining things and keep just how can I say? It's like this obsession with breaking barriers, but it gets to where you're breaking barriers that don't need to be broken, i.e. men who say they're girls and they want to go compete in girls sports, and then when they do that, they crush every girl in the sport because you're a dude. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so in this conversation right here, I'm sorry, lost the plot. You can tell by the posture, he also knows he's getting cooked. He also knows that, I've been caught, not so much in a lie or in a moment, but more so, I took a strong stance on something that I wasn't educated about. So, the dark-skinned dude in the bottom, he pointed out the number one recipient. When you go through the statistics, right, after that it's Latinos. And I believe after that it's Asians and Native Americans. And you have black people getting online, speaking at length about how bad it is, how tone deaf it is for Jay-Z to have his album in Target, knowing that Target rolled back its DEI program. And I'm sorry if this doesn't prove that how much this is how dumb we could be. I'm convinced feminism and everything liberal has like made people into idiots. Because what happens is, I'm sorry, this by proxy. Well, not proxy. Just by default, you become an idiot when you stop using logic. The more you don't make sense means that you're wrong. Idiots do everything wrong. Idiots are losers. You know what I'm saying? They do everything wrong. They do everything incorrect. That's why they're idiots. Because they're too stupid to do actual problem solving. That's what that means. That's what you become. And and now old boy, who's probably an intelligent guy, you're having this conversation where, for one, he's not going to admit that, hey, you know what, I was wrong, and I took a really strong stance, and I spoke on some shit that I didn't have any knowledge about. You know what I'm saying?
You started this. You started this as a black issue. It does not matter if they're the majority of the country. That don't matter. That don't matter. That don't matter at all. Because when we talk about poverty, they're the majority of the country. The country. We don't talk about them.
I just said it. We do talk. I told you we forget about them.
When we talk about gun violence, when we talk about gangs, we just talk about only black people. We talk about hoods. We only talk about black people. There's white hoods. There's white people in gangs.
For sure.
We don't talk about that. So I'm not trying to hear that. Oh, it's most of the, no. You said when I asked you about what do you think of DEI, first thing you said was it's racist.
To me, it is.
Okay, that ain't got nothing to do with a white woman.
You said who benefits more, but that's not the argument. It's still a racist thing because black people benefit from it.
I want you to Google.
He just told you who benefits. That's based on the data. He just told it stupid. He just told it. He just told you who benefits from the fucking program. It's white women. Yo, you know how tough it is, how futile it is to have a conversation with a Negro who actually and this is one of y'all favorite pastimes, to speak on things and not know what the hell you talking about. And that's another thing about the term racist at this point. It's gotten to a point where it don't even mean nothing. It doesn't mean anything anymore. Again, you call the program racist when statistically we don't benefit. Look, we're not the primary recipients. Meaning that when this goes away, when this went away, we weren't affected by it. He's not able to put that shit together. Matter of fact, I want to play a few minutes of a video from Think Before You Sleep. Brilliant content creator. I started watching him back in 2023 at a really, really tough time in my life. This is when I first accepted that, damn, I'm gonna have to get it out the mud and rebuild myself and my whole psyches. But anyway, so he basically was speaking on, putting a face to the recipients of these DEI jobs, these DEI hires, and what they look like, what they sound like. Because one other aspect of this whole thing is the fact that these people obviously are being hired because they check a few boxes. Now, this happens to be a woman who's also queer and overweight, right? So she fits into about 3 populations, right? So she was given a high position, in like the fire, like the fire department over there in California and everything. But I'm gonna put a video. So this right here is a statement she made that she went viral for. All right, let's go ahead and bring it back a little bit.
Require someone who is strong, and men are. I want to be rescued by someone who.
Like you, it gives that person, you want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better.
Look like you? You're morbidly obese and look very out of shape. If I'm about to die in a fire, I don't want to be rescued by someone who looks like that. I want to be rescued by someone who looks like an elite athlete. If I'm paying for people to save my life in an emergency, they shouldn't be fat. If you're like a police officer or a firefighter or in the military, you should lose your job if you're this overweight and out of shape. I mean, she's bigger than Private Pile. This is what used to be considered helplessly overweight in the 1980s. So I actually looked up the fitness standards for the Los Angeles Fire Department, and shockingly, they're the same for men and women. I think that's a first. However,
Out the chain. Say what up to Aaliyah. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Hype the video. I love you. Shout out the chain. Say what up to Aaliyah. Peace.
Oh, okay, my bad.
basically crippled for up to a week out of every month, and a burning building is not going to wait for them to finish their cycle. I really think a firefighter requires someone who is strong, and men are biologically way stronger than women. Not just that, but also people seem to forget that women have periods where a lot of them can be basically crippled for up to a week out of every month, and a burning building is not going to wait for them to finish their cycle. I really think these DEI people are heavily misunderstanding the danger of flooding women into these roles, especially when you give one a leadership position who says stuff like this.
Is she strong enough to do this? Or, you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire. Which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
This is a fireman basically saying that if you're in a, if this woman comes across you in a fire, this is her thought process, not let me rescue you and everything, because the question is a legit question. That doesn't change because you're a woman who wants to be a fireman. No, like literally, you do not have the upper body strength to be lifting up men. That is a fact. You literally, if I was in here and she came in here, I'm screwed. I think maybe she could save a kid, like a kid under like 11 years old, like a very small, like 11-year-old and down to like maybe a baby. I think like she can handle that, maybe like a dog. But I mean, like, you couldn't save a man from a fire. And of course, if it was a guy, he would have a hard time dragging someone out of a freaking fire, right? But at the same time, he maybe could drag him. You maybe probably could not move the man. That is a legit concern. That's another thing I didn't understand about why are y'all in the fire department? Not only that, women's instinct is to avoid danger, not run towards it. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what women do. Women don't put themselves in harm's way. That is a man thing, all right? That's testosterone. Okay, that's just how men function. You understand? It's really not a woman's job to fight a fire. I can see, you holding the hose and whatnot, but you really think a woman should put on a fireman suit and go into a burning building to do what? Do a TikTok? You know what I'm saying?
You hit that guy.
You shouldn't have been standing there.
I mean, I'll give her credit for not denying that women are biologically weaker than men, but did she say what I think she just said? Oh shit, you're stuck in a fire? You really screwed up. Anyway, I don't have time to help you because you shouldn't be in that position in the first place.
They
Crazy.
blame you for being on fire. This is the assistant chief of the fire. Oh my God. How does this happen?
Facts.
So needless to say,
Like,
this statement
for real.
from Christine
That is a legit question. Who really thought she needs to have this job? It's not a girl job. No, man, no. And she a super stud, super duper stud, boy. Biggest simp, boy. She was mean. Listen, you know how many kids she done raised that ain't hers? Cause all her girlfriends got kids.
Larson pissed a lot of people off, like a lot of people, like basically everyone, considering that she's in a leadership position.
Facts.
Fire her immediately, expeditiously. Fire this woman.
Right? If you aren't going to save my life in a fire, why the hell are you a firefighter? I can't believe she not only said that, but some editor thought it was a good idea to put that in a pre-recorded video.
Facts.
Where they could have cut that idiotic statement out. I mean, the audacity of a firefighter saying that it's your fault that you got stuck in a fire. What if a bookshelf fell on him? What if he panicked, ran into something while leaving the house, and incapacitated himself on accident? Anyway, after the Palisades fire started, more people have decided that they've had enough of the diversity, equity, and inclusion narrative, and have begun poking fun at it more than usual by sharing memes that say things like, if diversity hiring is so great, then why does everyone get mad when they're called a diversity hire?
DEI infantilizes women and minorities, and it causes people to doubt whether any particular woman or minority actually earned their way and truly is the best of the best for their role.
And look, I'm not a fire expert or an expert in central planning, so I can't entirely say something like no one's house would have burned down if it wasn't for that nasty DEI hiring. However, what I can certainly say is that all this DEI stuff makes people feel like they aren't the priority. It makes people feel like the government cares more about hiring the first black female lesbian battalion chief than it cares about the safety of the people that they're supposed to be protecting.
Facts.
So when the LA water chief makes $750K a year and says this, it pisses people off.
It's important to me that everything we do, it's with an equity lens and social justice and making sure that we right the wrongs that we've done in the past.
You call it powered by equity, and I know that it's been really important for the DWP to put an equity lens on everything.
Yes, yeah, and that's the number.
And for the most part, equity and inclusion, which sounds like it would include everyone, right? Inclusivity means gay. You know, so I don't know if you guys know that. Inclusivity means gay and people who have alternative or strange or just uncommon lifestyles and ways of living. It does not mean straight at all. You know what I'm saying? It does not mean, but the word implies that everyone's included. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, equity and stuff like that. It really does not mean that, hey, we're trying to make things fair for everyone. It's for the most part saying that we're trying to give queer people and people who are really losers and just suck at their job and are not professional, basically an advantage. Because someone's getting an advantage in this whole thing. You know what I'm saying? And again, let me remind you, all black people, it's not you. You were not the one getting an advantage. Like almost none of you probably were at loss of a job. Maybe if you're like a lesbian, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, and you have countless black folks who went online to speak about this in depth. And it never dawned on them, you don't know anyone with a DEI job. You don't know anyone like that. Well, at least someone personally. I'm just saying in general, like, no. It's just become this thing that people want to sound like a good person. People want to do an impression of a good person, but you don't want to do any of the actual work that involves being a good person. You know what I'm saying?
One thing that attracted me to this role.
Really? Did that social justice help put water in those empty fire hydrants? I mean, I've done enough research to know that a 100+ million gallon reservoir was left empty for almost a year because there was a tear in the evaporation cover. Now, I've done a bit of research on this, and it seems like there is no way in hell it should take a year to fix this. This seems like extreme negligence, especially considering that California is almost constantly in a drought.
There's been a lot of talk about the Santa Ynez Reservoir being offline. If it were full of water, would that have made a difference in your opinion?
I would think so. It's 117 million gallons of water.
Further, even though Governor Newsom says all the reservoirs are up and full, that appears not to be true. The LA Department of Water and Power own data shows that 5 other reservoirs are empty at 0%.
I mean, for how often the government declares a drought in California, they really seem to waste a shitload of water. How many more houses would have been saved if this water chief focused on doing her damn job instead of social justice? Look at this guy here trapped in his house. Do you think that in this moment he gives a fuck about social justice? His life might be over. He can't escape his house. He could be living his last moments with his dog and a friend of his. And I bet he's thinking, man, I am so glad that the first black lesbian female got to be a fire battalion chief. You see how
this is a real, it's like AI. It's like this is a real video. This is fucking horrifying. This is crazy.
how stupid this is? It's almost as stupid as the mayor, Karen Bass, hiring this water chief at double the rate of the previous water chief, yet proposed a budget cut that was large enough to close down 16 different fire stations right before this big fire in a state that has so many wildfires that home insurance is through the roof.
I don't think there's any question that our department is the best at fighting fires. We do it better than anybody in the world.
I think a lot of people would disagree with that. I think that these diversity hires are so ideologically possessed that they forget about the consequences of them not doing a good job. The less qualified for the job they are, the more people get hurt, and when you hire someone because they're a woman or because they're black or have certain sexual preferences, and not because they are the best candidate, people lose their homes and become homeless. I've watched a number of videos on this about people who have recently gone homeless and are struggling because they don't have any close family or friends to house them, and can't get a hotel because they are fully booked or too expensive. Also, some people have been gracious enough to inhale polluted air to actually film what the neighborhoods look like after the fire, and it's just devastating. House after house burnt down, entire cars melted. You have to worry about looters now. Did we talk about how big uncontrolled disasters invite people in to loot? So if you were lucky enough to not have your house burned down, you might get back to it to find out that someone broke in and stole your stuff. Well, if there's anything left. This YouTuber here lost his entire house in the fire. He lost his computer, he lost sentimental items, he lost photos.
Damn.
This was my favorite room in the house. This is the living room. It was newly renovated.
Wow.
I renovated it right when I moved in a few years ago, and it was a great.
We gonna stop there, man. This is just super sad. But I just wanted to take a closer look at like what DEI actually is, the kind of people who get those jobs, and the effects they have on the companies they're a part of, the staff, the people they're supposed to serve. You know what I mean? And because for the most part, with these kind of people, even with that statement, right? The fact that that girl made that statement saying, you know, basically in so many words, you know, if I have to save you from the fire, then you know you're in the wrong place to begin with, or just saying in so many words that it wouldn't be my priority to make sure that I service you the best way I can because we're in a life or death situation. She takes this opportunity to just talk shit as if no one should ever wonder whether or not, you know how ridiculous you sound to think that no one should be concerned about whether or not a woman can save, a female firefighter can save a person from a burning building. And basically we're not supposed to question this because it's not nice. Let me also just show you one more example of the kind of people who get these jobs. So shout out to Maria. So we
the identity of the Knicks fan
Stub
who stole
Maria,
a Knicks themed trash can during
big old Kool-Aid smile. This is the person who was dumping a trash can on the sidewalk. So New York painted all the trash cans blue and orange in honor of the Knicks and you know and their win and stuff like that. She had someone tape her, probably for her TikTok, because I don't think her job had to go very far to find this video. She did several videos, and people did several videos of her, and yeah, so they taped her emptying out a trash can. Now mind you, it was like mad garbage in there. So she emptied out the trash can, poured it on the sidewalk, and took the trash can home with her. Let's find out who she is. Check it out.
during the championship parade has been revealed. The woman was identified as Angie Baez, a JP Morgan Chase executive who previously held diversity, equity, and inclusion leadership roles.
Big on the previously. Big on previous.
As an executive director in New York, she was likely earning between $250,000 and $350,000, plus annually in salary, bonus, and equity compensation. After the footage spread online, JP Morgan Chase confirmed that Baez was no longer employed by the company. The identity of the Knicks fan.
She lost her job over this shit. And this is one more point. Then we're gonna go ahead and close out. My man in the previous video, Thing Before You Sleep, made a really good point about when it comes to the hiring process for these positions, when you throw this monkey wrench in the mix, right? When you throw the whole DEI thing in the mix, we lose sight of what's most important, which is the success of everyone, right? When people get jobs, they're in that position to make sure that they can do their, that they're the most qualified. I'm sorry. If they have that job, it's supposed to be the most qualified for the job. They're supposed to be the very best candidate for that job. If this person has a job that's that important, she's probably over some people. She's probably in charge of some people. right? And she's, mind you, let's just say she was making at least $200K. That is a big deal. That is a lot. That's a huge bag for anybody, right? And at that level, your image, what you do outside of work, is extremely important, extremely scrutinized, right? She thought with that position that not only can you, she didn't even sneak it. She didn't put on no ninja outfit. She didn't cover her face. She didn't even wear like a shamag or a disguise or a Mr. Potato mask. Nothing like that. She looked right at the camera. She smiled, right? And then you saw her walk off with those awkward cheeks. You know what I'm saying? And then she took pictures on the train. Wasn't even hiding. She only just, like, maybe if she looked as though she got caught or ashamed to be something different, but she looks proud. Like she was having a great day. This is the thought process of the kind of people that they put in these positions and give these important jobs to. Listen, she probably got someone that she's over that she be torturing and picking on and talking to them crazy and whatnot. She probably been popping it at everybody in her family. You know what I'm saying? And now look at her. It's just crazy. But I wanted to have this conversation because y'all gotta care more about being right. You know what I'm saying? Like, because for the most part, this is who black people are fighting for. You're fighting for this woman who thought I should empty out a trash can. That was mad trash. I mean, like, listen, I should have tear like a Native American every time I see somebody litter. Much less somebody on camera putting all that garbage in the street. Come on, man. Like the video, man. Come on, like the video. My bad.
Like the video.
Anyway, we out, man.
Subscribe to the channel.
Subscribe to the channel.